Hello friends and subscribers, this is Prepper Princess and this is a requested video about my personal thoughts on tiny house living. A tiny house is considered to be between 1 and 400 square feet. And I guess I'm going to be playing a little bit of devil's advocate here against the tiny house movement. There are a lot of TV shows, especially on HGTV, romanticizing tiny house living and how amazing it is and how these people get to go out and do things that they want because they don't have a mortgage weighing them down, which can be, I guess, a good point to make. However, there are alternatives to tiny house living that are either the same cost or less than a normal tiny house. For instance, people like the fact that a tiny house can be put on a trailer hitch and taken to wherever they want to go. That's a really great thing, but the average tiny house costs about $25,000 to $45,000. For $25,000 to $45,000, you can easily get a used RV or camper that is completely self-contained and even larger than most tiny homes. So these new trailers are insulated. You don't really have to worry about anything except filling the water tanks and the propane tanks and you're good to go. They also have more storage space than most tiny homes. So I have a hard time understanding why people are so into tiny homes if they can get something for half the price that has all of the same amenities as a tiny home. And don't get me wrong, I'm into small living and minimalist living and living within your means. I'm into small refrigerators, energy efficient appliances, things that will really lessen your footprint on the earth. But there's also other considerations to take into place. Tiny homes in a lot of places are not zoned. Most places will have a minimum building requirement of 960 square feet or more. So if you want to build a tiny home and you want to permanently place it in a specific zone or residence, chances are the city is not going to approve you to be able to stay there. So this is where a lot of people will buy and purchase land, which increases the cost of their tiny home. So they spend $25,000 to $45,000 custom making their tiny home, and then an additional $25,000 to $45,000 purchasing the land to place their tiny home on. There are alternative options. You can purchase land in isolated or desolate areas for between $500 and $2,000 per acre. But there is also the alternative method of mobile home trailers. I was looking up mobile home trailers and I've been interested in them for a long time. Possibly purchasing a trailer in a small piece of property in the desert, I think would be a really great sort of, not bug out location, but a sort of a vacation place for me. I have many friends that are located in the Mojave Desert and I love going ATVing and shooting guns and having all that fun, so I thought it would be great to look into. Some of the things that I'm seeing are used mobile homes. Of course, it's going to cost you about $3,000 to $5,000 to move them from their current location to where you want them placed. But these mobile homes are anywhere between 600 and 1,000 square feet as opposed to 1 and 400 square feet. So you've got at least 1 or 2 bedrooms that you can have a little bit of privacy in. And these range, I mean, you can even see them on eBay between $4,500 and $6,000. I did see one that was beautiful. It was fully furnished, off-grid setting. It already had solar panels included, and it was $13,900, and it was 900 square feet. It was a 2015 model. The inside looked absolutely beautiful. So if you're spending $25,000 to $45,000 on a tiny home and you can get one for $13,000 that is a mobile home that is a single wide and can still be taken without wide load permits, I think that that's a more financially feasible option for people who are looking to go off grid. One of the things that comes with a trailer, like an RV, is that you've got it self-contained. So you've already got the water and you've got the propane. You will have to continue to go out and get those things, but you can also customize an RV or a mobile home trailer to have solar and composting, and you can also customize it to use propane as your major gas source. So when it comes to tiny house living, I understand that there is this beautiful, my apple turnovers are finished, but there's this beautiful thing about living tiny, working less, living more. And I completely agree that we spend far too much of our time just working to keep the things that we already have. And I think that the tiny house movement is too tiny for most people. You can't start a family in them, and people don't really look into all of the things that you have to get rid of in order to live in a tiny home. Especially if you're a couple or 3 people, it's going to be extremely difficult with that lack of privacy. That beeping is getting on my nerves, and as you can see, Rocky is making a cameo appearance in the background. But instead of tiny homes, I would like for you guys to look at mobile homes, mobile trailers, things like that. They have a large amount of space, a much larger amount of space. You can customize them to do the exact same type of thing that a tiny house would do, except it's going to be a lot more comfortable for you just to have that extra space. And also, you can get brand new mobile homes, single wide or double wide, for about $25,000, and these are absolutely gorgeous. I would recommend looking into something like that because I would rather spend $22,000 to $25,000 on a brand new, already ready to move in mobile home as opposed to all of the reclaimed and refurbished and piecing things together that it would take with a tiny home. So I hope that this answered your question, and I hope that if you guys are looking into alternative methods of living, that you'll look more into RVs and mobile homes as opposed to tiny houses. Also, tiny houses have a depreciating value. So you may spend $45,000 on a tiny home, and in 5 years when you try and sell it, you might only get half that amount. Do what you can with what you've got. Prepper Princess out.